This month marks 10 years since my first ever property purchase, and I thought it was a really cool milestone and a really good milestone to reflect back on things I've learnt and things I'd love to teach myself back then and things I might perhaps do differently. So I wanted to break it down into a few lessons and a few things that I think are worth considering, especially when you're looking at property or looking at investing in general. The first big thing that I wish I'd really sort of known a lot sooner was having a real clear definition around risk. Now, one of my favourite definitions of risk comes from Tim Ferriss. You might know him from the 4-Hour Work Week, and he defines risk as how long will it take me to get back to a situation like where I am today if everything goes pear-shaped. So that was if you were to buy a property or go into a business deal, if that was to go pear-shaped, how long would it actually take you to get yourself back into the exact same situation you are in today? And I think this is a really good question to ask yourself when looking at buying a property, when looking at going into business, when looking at investing. What does the downside look like? If everything goes belly up, upside down, and really worst case scenario, what would that look like to then recover and get yourself back into the same position as today? It's certainly a question I ask myself a lot, and it's certainly one that I wish I was sort of more aware of and really focused on more back 10 years ago. The second big point, and a point that's becoming more and more relevant in this super low interest rate world that we live in, is the power of leverage. Now, there's a saying that goes along the lines of making a big percentage gain on a small amount of money is still a small amount of money. We're making a small gain on a large sum of money is actually a considerable amount of money. So to rephrase that, if you're investing only a small amount of money into the market, even a really great return, even like a double, isn't actually going to translate into a lot of money. And this is what I see a lot in the crypto space. People investing a small amount of money, getting these really big returns, but the returns on the small amount of money still equate to a small amount of money. And for the time and effort they put into researching and buying and selling, the actual profits they're making is probably no better than their day-to-day job. Where the other side of this is to leverage your money and use a small amount of money you might have and borrow the bank's money in the case of property and leverage up. Obviously, when you leverage your personal money, your risk of losing does become greater as you can actually lose more than what you've actually put in. But the benefits and the gain, if the investment goes the right way, become 5-fold or even 10-fold depending on your leverage level. So that's something I really wish I understood earlier, is the idea of leverage and how you can really utilize leverage in other people's money to really make money work for you, and in the end how you can actually make a lot more money borrowing and investing than you can actually working your day-to-day 9 to 5. So that's a really big lesson, and I really think something that is missed in schools is the power of leverage. There's a saying, and I don't know how true it is, but essentially Einstein said that compound growth was the 8th wonder of the world. And it really is true. Those that truly understand compound growth can really see the benefits over a long period of time. Where for those that may not fully comprehend it and end up in credit card debt or bad personal debt, the powers of compound growth really can work against you. So I think having a fundamental understanding of compound growth and what an investment looks like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time, thanks to compound growth, can really help people get excited about investing in the market, be it property, be it stocks, once they've truly understood what compound growth looks like over those longer period of times and how that can really set you up for well into your future and well into financial independence. My fourth big lesson also comes from Einstein, and this is his definition of insanity, is repeating the same thing over and over and over. And this is something I see a lot of people do. They whinge about their job, whinge about their current situation, but then never actually do anything to change it. They still turn up to their 9 to 5, they still blow their money on the weekends, they never put something away and start saving towards something bigger and better, but they just repeat that same process over and over. And that really is the definition of insanity, according to Einstein, according to me. So if you are stuck in a situation or in a loophole or a repeating series of events, maybe look at seeing what you can do differently, as that slight little change, that slight little $50 or $100 saving each week, that slight change of career, that slight change of pathway can really make a drastic difference in a 3 or a 4 year time period. So that would be the fourth big lesson that I'd certainly share with myself 10 years ago, is don't get stuck in the same routine. Don't fall into that definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over. Look for what works, look for the change of pathway, and it can certainly lead to a lot more success. My fifth and final lesson that I'd really want to teach myself 10 years ago is don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10. So that is, don't go looking at some big property investor that's got a 15, 20 property portfolio and try and compare yourself of how you would ever get there. Break it down into those little step-by-steps and start with your first step, start with your first chapter 1. Everyone has to start somewhere on their journey, so be really cautious and really focus on finding your circle, your crowd that is maybe a couple of steps ahead, and use them to guide you through each little base and each little chapter, rather than trying to compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10, as it can really demoralize you and really break your spirits along the journey. So really focus on where you're at and compare your story to your story, rather than trying to play the games of comparison. And I think this is really, really prominent, especially in this social media world that we live in, is focusing on your journey, where you're at, and not trying to compare yourself to someone else and their unique set of circumstances. So there you have it. That's 5 things that I'd love to teach myself 10 years ago, and really focus on 10 years ago, as I think it would have sped up my journey and helped me got to where I am today a lot quicker than where I am. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I hope you love this video. If you do, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do bring out a lot of content on this channel, and we'll be bringing out some pretty big news in the coming weeks. So hope you stick around. Hope you see that announcement when it comes out, as it is going to be changing our business as it currently functions, and it's something I'm really excited to bring to the market.